Howdy, howdy, howdy. Today is September 4th, 2016, and this is the Garden Nerd. I'm going to take you on a tour of the garden. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so, start with the grapevine here. Grapevine's doing pretty well. This little arbor's looking pretty nice. But yeah, there are some grapes, but most of the grapes have either fallen off, gotten eaten by birds and whatnot, so I'm going to have to do some harvests and try to keep up with it if I want to make any jelly this year. Alright, so we have the rustic raised bed here, the volunteer tomato, which is doing okay, with some tomatoes, not too bad for, something that I didn't really do. The zucchini plants are doing okay. They do have some powdery mildew, so I might rip these ones out. I did rip out the ones further on, I'll show you that. And the Brussels sprout, the one that the groundhog's been munching on, is actually Brussels sprouting, so I might actually get a couple Brussels sprouts, but yes. Alright, here in the little keyhole garden bed, I actually took out all the squash plants here because they were very powdery mildewed, and I've had I have enough zucchini. I've made a ridiculous amount of zucchini bread, and have cooked with it and all that, so I'm pretty good. On the zucchini front, I still have those two plants still going for a little bit longer. There are butternut squashes going up and through, kind of going up into the flowers, and I think there's like 2 or 3 fruits here. Don't know if you can see that guy right there. Yeah, there's one there. And then there's also one that's hidden down there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Butternut squash is delicious. And then the Three Sisters garden bed up here. Alright, so the neighbor to the rustic bed and the concrete block one here. There are a couple of turnips that are looking pretty good and turnipy. A carrot that apparently got ripped out probably by the groundhog. So that's fantastic. Bloody groundhog. Alright. Yeah, then over here on the milk crates, I actually planted more carrot seed. So this way the cats would not come up and dig it and whatnot, but they have not germinated, so I'm hoping that they will come up sometime soon, so I might get like a little bit more carrots and all that. And then the flowers, doing pretty good there. So, the butternut squash, I harvested 3 butternut squash from this vine, and now they're setting some more fruit, so I might get another harvest off this plant. The green beans are actually doing something, surprisingly enough. They actually have flowers. So that means I'll actually get some actual green beans from this green bean thing that's been going the entire year and not really giving me green beans. Oh, look at that. An actual green bean. Fantastic. Then over here in the lasagna bed, there is the Swiss chard, which I haven't actually been eating much off of. I like it, but I just don't really have that many great recipes yet for it. So if anybody knows, drop a comment. Let me know if you know any good recipes. I'd be interested to know. Then we go back to the tomato bed here. So, the tomato bed is still pumping tomatoes out, as you can see. The Abe Lincoln ones, which I do like, are just so prone to blight. I'm going to have to figure out if I want to grow them next year. I mean, you get some nice big tomatoes and whatnot. Oh, and I lost a tomato. The groundhog decided to come and munch away. So yes, that means I need to probably keep up on harvesting a bit more. But yes, so the tomatoes are doing good. The tomatoes are just kind of pumping out a lot more than the other varieties that I grew, other than like the cherry tomatoes. So like the sweet 100s are pretty much done. Most of those plants are pretty much dead, so I'll have to kind of rip those out. The independents are actually doing better now that there's less competition, I think. So those are little cocktail tomatoes. And then the black cherry tomatoes are doing pretty fantastic still pumping out more and more. So, alright, so moving along here, we have the volunteer squash plant, which is the crookneck yellow. which is still producing. I actually ripped out the other one over there because I just keep having a lot of crookneck and not a whole lot of usages. Then we got the beets over here, which are, you know, doing okay. Like little golf ball sized beets, and not getting much bigger than that, which is kind of disappointing, but I mean, it's not too bad. Better beet harvest than I've ever had, so that's good. Then over here, if you remember, there was the yellow crookneck squash that was over here that got like just vine bored and, like I said, too many squash as it is, so I took that out. So I got all the carrots here and a couple of turnips mixed in, which you can see this is doing very well. Then we also have like a beet here, some more carrots, so I might actually get some decent amount of carrots. The marigold is just blown up still, so I just keep letting that go because that's good for pollinators and good to keep some pests away, hopefully. Then I got some more turnips, some carrots kind of mixed in down here, which is very nice. So I had bachelor buttons there, which just died, so I kind of ripped them out and whatnot. And then the sunflowers, most of which have gotten knocked down and broken, so that's unfortunate. So I cut those down to the base, which you can see some of the ones there. But this guy with the multiple heads is still going, so I'm letting it stay, trying to save seeds from it. I lost a couple heads that I snipped and put on the back porch because the squirrel decided that he wanted them more than I did. So yay! Alright, so then I also have my little square garden thingy here where I had the beans. I'm actually letting a lot of my bush beans go to seed. So this way I can actually try to save some of those if there's even any left in here. There is. Cool. So I'm just trying to save some seed there so I can save it for next year. This way I don't have to buy as many seeds, which is very nice. Alright, that brings us up to the Three Sisters garden bed here. All the corn was finished. I got about 5 to 6 decent ears of corn. The rest were like sad and not really germinated. The corn is definitely delicious. I'll be trying to grow more of that next year. I'll have to do a little bit more research, probably do a bit more dense planting. But a couple of the butternut squash plants are doing okay. I got this one here, which is doing the best out of the like 8 that I planted here. And then there's this little tiny one here. So, I'm hoping that now that there's less competition for light, this guy will be doing better and I'll be able to get a couple more squash from here. Over here, where I had a lettuce planted, did not survive because of the groundhog who just keeps coming and munching away at things. I do, however, have the tomato plants on either end as I'm trellising them up, tying them up as they go. So I might get some more tomatoes. But surprisingly enough, the groundhog really hasn't bothered this one Brussels sprout. So this is my hope that I actually get to have some Brussels sprouts this year, because this guy is actually still alive, surprisingly. Alright, so that is the main garden. I will show you now the other parts. Alright, so the blueberry bed is doing fairly nice. I'm actually getting some nice tall growth on these blueberry bushes, which is pretty exciting, which means I might actually get more than a handful of blueberries, which would definitely be nice. So, I mean, these guys are nice bushing up. I don't really feel like I have to worry about trimming them this year. Hopefully they will survive well over the winter, as they've done the last 2 years. And yeah, I mean, I will keep amending it with compost and my soil acidifier. As I've said before, it's the only store-bought thing that I use in the garden. I don't use like any fertilizers and whatnot, so that's pretty cool. So blueberries, doing well. So the little strawberry patch, I did get some strawberries. There is a couple here fruiting with tiny, tiny fruits, which, you know, aren't really much. But I thinned this out last year, so now it should hopefully fill back in and get me a bit more strawberries next year. I do mean to expand this at some point. I just haven't got around to expanding the strawberry bed. That's a project probably for another year, though. Now we also have the herb bathtub. The basil, sadly, seems to have gotten some kind of fungal disease, and all the leaves have fallen off of most of my plants. But the sage is ridiculous. It's taken over pretty much everything. I don't even know what I will do with all the sage. I'll definitely dry it and store it. But yeah, more sage than I know what to do with. So yes, the newest garden expansion, which is full of quasi-successes and failures here. Most of my basil has seemed to have gotten a fungal disease, I believe, from my research, and it is just kind of sad and done and dying, which makes me sad because if I knew this was going to happen, I would have harvested a lot more earlier. You know, made, freezed, and froze some pesto. But yeah, not doing too hot. There are some random volunteers here of what I believe is eggplant, but so I'm just going to let that go. I doubt I'll get anything from it because of how late in the season it is. And all the carrots that I planted have just been devoured by the evil groundhog, which I need to do something about. And then the green beans. Oh, the green beans. These guys have just kind of continuously fallen. I really gonna have to, again, I think, do a much better trestle next year. If I decide to put green beans here, which I probably won't. I'll probably try to get bush beans and put them in the front row here or something. And then do maybe tomatoes or something in the back row here. But again, the groundhog is the fiend that has just been destroying all this garden here. Like, he's knocked down all the sunflowers here and just munched away. Greedy little groundhog. Now over to the back corner garden here. Tomatoes seem to be doing pretty well, the ones that I've actually put in there. There are a decent amount of fruit, so I'll get some more tomatoes from here. Not that I don't have enough tomatoes. So as you can see here, the turnips are doing okay. There is some weeding that I need to keep up on, but I might actually get some turnips, maybe some radishes from back here. And the beets didn't really come up except for like sparsely like one I see. So I'll maybe reseed that today and hope that some more will come up. The potatoes back here did not come up at all, but what can you do about it? However, the little potatoes that I did plant here are doing something. I don't know if I'll get anything there. There's another potato there. But yeah, so I also have to go through and save the seeds on the broccoli and save some broccoli seeds. That's pretty cool. Now on the little flowers over here, I've had to prop up the cosmos because they just keep drooping in the way. You know, one giant plant is still rocking it, and the snapdragons, they're still doing some flowering, so at the end when they actually die off, I'll, you know, clear cut this and probably put a mulch down, trying to get all the weeds and stuff out of there. The zinnias are actually doing really cool over here too, along with more of the marigolds, which... Alright, and then as you can see here in this little tomato jungle, I ripped out the back cherry tomatoes because they were just blighted to death, and they are just kind of done. The tomato that was in the front there is vining about and has some tomatoes still going on it, and then the Abe Lincoln ones are not doing too hot, but they are still fairly good. At least a couple of them are, so I'll let them go, see what they can make. And somehow I have sorghum growing here and there. This one giant head of sorghum plant, which I will try to keep the seeds of and actually maybe do a bunch of planting of that. And there's a couple of little ones right back there as well. I'm assuming it probably came from bird seed that I had that I, you know, distributed, so maybe the birds would stop getting at the seeds that I don't want them to get at. But yeah, I believe this is sorghum. Saw a video of it on the MIGardener channel. I'll throw a link to that. It's a pretty interesting video because I actually did not know what this was. I was just letting it grow because it looked pretty cool. But I believe it is sorghum, which is an ancient grain. Now to the little containers over here. The leeks seem to be doing well. Nothing like too crazy going on here, but I'll harvest those later when it gets a bit cooler because I want to make some potato leek soup. Then over here, there are radishes which have just been decimated by, I believe, flea beetles. Some lettuces and stuff in here. But yeah, just kind of growing them and whatnot. I don't really eat enough radishes. I don't know why I keep growing them. Then we have some plant starts here. There is some more of the Swiss chard and eucalyptus, which I need to up-pot some of those to save them. And then the rosemary, which is doing okay, but probably a bit too dry. And then the lettuce here just bolted, so I ripped it out. I may try to do another bit of lettuce. I do have some lettuce starts here, which is, this is the butter crunch, and then this is some other ones that I can't remember. And yeah, hopefully I can get something going. Lastly, we have the herb tire, which is very weedy. I still haven't gotten to this. Again, the basil is just kind of dying and done. The German thyme, the chives, and the oregano. So I do have an abundance of those. I just need to go through and do those. This is the Gardener signing off. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think by dropping a comment below in the comments. Bye!